Hi guys, Beluki Bota, David Stone. I haven't done this for a while because a lot of the stuff I put out there has been really poor quality, and I'm doing this on my iPhone. I've got a Rode mic, but I'm not using that. I use Audacity as software, but doesn't seem to help. So I'm still struggling with getting my stuff together, if you like. But I've been motivated to do this as a kind of ad hoc improvisation, in a sense, which I'm calling the modern dance. The modern dance, left, right, left, right, left, right, and the waltz, the two step. Um, I was just reminded of this by listening the other day to Candace Owens, uh, and she's a very dynamic, interesting, self-confident, self-aware, youngish black woman who I despise, right? And I want to know why the existence of this human being in the world at large should cause or can cause such a visceral, emotional, kind of adrenaline-driven response. And it does come down to the dance between the left and the right, I'm sure. I'm of the left, right, and I think if I was to caricature or try and describe how I see the difference between the left and the right, I would do so slightly self-effacingly by saying that the left understand the world and want to change it, and they want to change it in a way that nurtures the individual, the family, the group, the tribe, the nation, the country, the world. Nurtures, provides succor to, advances, if you like, progresses, if you like. It's tree huggery to a certain extent. It's kind of like love is the most important thing. Kindness, love, generosity. These are the real things, the real bonds that combine, unite, and bring us together. The right, I think, and I'm just saying it, still manning it as far as I can, and I've read a lot of right-wing stuff from Hitler, the kind of Nietzschean interpretation, which is fairly right-wing, that set the tone for the Volkisch component of National Socialism. Edmund Burke, I've read his concerns about the revolution in France and his defence of the revolution in America and the reasons for that. And, Adam Smith, other proponents of the right, Hayek, Milton Friedman. Yeah, I've read them. And what the right seems to do is to come from a position which is, this is just my view, fundamentally, at its core, in its DNA, self-hating. And what I mean by that is it strives to achieve a sense of self and a sense of purpose that gives the person of the tribe, the group, the party, the set of allegiances primacy. I kind of like cry for an authentic sense of self, which sees the self as the most important thing. Not us, not we, not together, but the self. So I listened to Candace Owens and oh my God. She does this thing, right, which I'm pretty sure I'm right about. She's earning millions, by the way. I mean, millions from her YouTube podcasts. Go to it. Go and listen to her. My take on it is she doesn't really believe a word of what she's saying. She'll make statements like, you know, black people need to stop being victims, and I've never seen Indian women complaining about the concentration camps, blah, blah, blah. She just says things which are really provocative. There's no such thing as a patriarchy. There might be, in fact, a matriarchy, blah, blah, blah. The problem isn't black people being oppressed by white people. It's white people being confronted by the demands of black people. Yeah. Clickbait, right? This is stuff she just throws out there. She's found a marketplace, and many others are doing this in the modern age now. Andrew Tate and other people. It feels to me like, because I'm a fisherman, right? It feels to me like somebody creates a bait. Like in the fishing fraternity, you have your rig, you know, your alignment of weights and hooks and bait. You have your rig, and you set this thing up, this bait, so that it is the most attractive you can find for the species that you're trying to catch. And you have to be quite canny about that. You have to understand where your species lives, you know, whether it's pelagic or demersal, bottom lying or midway in the current. You know, what its habits are, what its predations are, what it likes to eat. You have to anticipate and kind of get ahead of where you think your prize is. And I think Candace Owens does the same thing, right? The prize is the thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people in our culture, predominantly Western culture, who feel alienated and disconnected. And they want to believe in something. And she puts out this bait, this, like, it's almost like I can see her throwing out a metaphorical rig, you know, fishing rig. The feathers, the weights, the bait. The bait is, believe me. And the audience are people who want to believe stuff. And her motivation for doing it, I think, is really simple. It's got nothing to do with truth. It's got nothing to do with the arguments. It's got nothing to do with debate. It simply has to do with how much money she can make by playing this game. And hundreds and thousands of people have bought into it. And they're doing it in other arenas too. But it seems to be part of the zeitgeist. Left, right, left, right, left, right. I think the right come from a place of deep alienation from themselves, from their families, from their friends, from their comrades, from their tribe and from their community. Because the elevation of self above anybody else is psychotic, in my judgment. It's a psychosis. And it is part of who we are as a human species. We have a tendency towards love and kindness and generosity and concern and consideration and care. And we have at the same time, the same people in the same settings, a tendency towards self-serving, egotistic, maniacal, self-serving, self-righteous, acquisitive stuff, right? So the left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. I do have a view about how it's come to pass, how it's come to this in 2026, which is based upon, I think, a fairly well-established idea, but I'm not sure how well evidenced it is. But it kind of like, you see people like Jordan Peterson talking about it, and Douglas Murray, and even Bannon, and many other kind of spokespeople who are now part of the social media cultural environment, which is the Dostoevsky, Brothers Karamazov, death of God. Without God, there's no morality. Without God, there's no purpose. Either you choose as an individual to believe in the precepts endowed for you by the Almighty, or you deny it. And if you deny it, that way lies nihilism and despair. But we know, as a matter of fact, not just a matter of opinion, that the primacy of religion and the spiritual, if you like, hegemony, the umbrella in which all ideas kind of have to exist, the spiritual religious sensibility, was torpedoed by the Enlightenment, 1650s or whatever it was. I've talked about this before. The Enlightenment created, I think this was a genuine dialectical process. The power of the church created, in its effect, an opposition to the church. Right? The power of spiritualism created, in the Enlightenment, a materialist kind of attitude. And it gave birth eventually to the scientific method. And within that method, an unfortunate emphasis and over-regard to the individual, which I've talked to you guys before about. Left, right, left, right, left, right. On the 19th of May, a few days ago, 2026, there was a march in London by Tommy Robinson and the far right, and a counter demonstration by the left, mainly by the pro-Palestinian left. According to the police, 60,000 people turned up for the Tommy Robinson march. They claim 1.5 million. That's always the way. According to the police, 30,000 turned up to the anti-Tommy Robinson march, the pro-Palestinian march. According to them, it's 2 million. You get where I'm going. Left, right, left, right. It's not about truth or facts. It's not about reality for many, on either the left or right. It's about being right. Right? It's about being right. I'm a leftist. I think the right is fundamentally based on psychosis. I kind of somewhere in the evolution of groups and individuals, the idea of your own self-importance being primary or prior or more important than anybody else's gained traction. But the perversity of it is that its realization, your, on the right, realization of your needs requires you to subordinate your needs to the mass, to the group, to the party, to the collective. It's a weird piece of juxtapositioning. Anyway, enough for now. I'm only posting this because I'm on a difficult part of my boat journey from Leighton Buzzard heading south, and I've just spent a whole day sorting out space, making sure the engine's right. I've got diesel, I've got power, things are all in place for me to start moving the boat southwards. But I couldn't help but notice the events that are going on the news about Tommy Robinson, and as I'll come back to many times, one of my driving or motivational forces in all of this stuff is to really get into the politics of left and right, and not to do so in a way which says, everyone's entitled to their own point of view. We've all got different perspectives. My take is this: there is a fact of the matter out there, right? When you make the claim that immigrants are destroying the country, there are facts that either support that claim or not. When you talk about, you're in favour of Brexit because you want to restore power back to the British government, there are facts of the matter about whether leaving the European Union actually did that job or not. There are facts of the matter. We're in a very weird, peculiar moment in our journey because facts don't seem to count for a lot of people. It's just what you think that counts. So part of what I'm doing here and going forwards is just to try and help nudge the conversation slightly forward, in the sense that we agree at some point, not now, but at some point, that there are facts of the matter. There are ways of adjudicating between the claims of the left and the right. And if we can agree that, we might be getting somewhere. Later.